It is I, Unsolicited Opinion Man. After Scaled Nicely was released back in May, I thought, it'd be kind of interesting to rank every single 21 Pilots song just to see how I really feel about their music. So yeah, that took longer than expected. I should probably specify what I mean by every 21 Pilots song. Basically, I use this Wikipedia page. I'm not counting unreleased songs, and I'm not counting live versions of songs, so despite how absolutely beautiful that Heathens and Trees mashup on the ukulele was during their livestream experience, it's not going to be on this list. I am counting the different released versions of songs, like how some songs are both on Regional at Best and Vessel. I'm labeling those as separate songs, so both versions will be on this list. I did notice that the Mute Math sessions were missing from the Wikipedia page, but those will be on this list as well. On top of listing every song from worst to best, I am also going to be giving each song a rating, so now I can call this a tier list as well as a ranked list. I'm gonna abuse the YouTube tags. The rating scale will go from 0, meaning I dislike a song so much that I don't care about anything good it has to offer, to 10, meaning I like a song so much that I don't care about any of its flaws. Okay, I think that's all the exposition I wanted to do. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I'm pretty sure. Alright, so we'll get to the 10 out of 10s eventually, but for now we gotta start with the... Oh, look how quirky I am by singing badly on purpose. I have never before felt the primal instinct to turn off a song. The only reason this one isn't the worst is because of the appreciation I have for the Vessel version. Apparently, Save was originally on Tyler's No Fun Intended album, but they did a remastered version of it. I can confidently say that the remastered version is better, and the lyrics seem very emotional and personal, but I'd still never come back to the song on my own. For this cover, I actually had never listened to the original before, so I listened to it after I listened to the cover, and I got incredibly angry because of how much better the original is. Okay, is it just me or is the mixing absolutely horrible on this? I just can't get behind his singing on a lot of the Regional at Best songs, and the synth on here just doesn't sound very good either. I mean, structurally and melodically, it's great, but it's not enough to bring me back. This one is incredibly disappointing. The vocal effect is a bit too much, the vocals altogether seem a bit quiet, the instrumental sounds incredibly artificial, and emotionless delivery could have been what they were going for, but it doesn't sound, good. The verses are fine. I don't like the chorus, but I will admit that the line that goes, if they... okay, I can do this. The line that goes, if they come knocking, ba ba ba, made me smile because of how cute it was. If only the rest of the song was so good. Why did they love bad vocal effects so much? For this one, I like to pretend that the last 30 seconds doesn't exist. I appreciate how Be Concerned is a bit smoother, a bit nicer on the ears, but once again, the vocal performance. The beginning of this one sounds like aggressive reggae. It's like kinda awkward, but the energy is undeniable. Okay, it's really entrancing when the synths kick in, not gonna lie. The lyrics here are blunt to the point where I think it's a bit of a detriment to the song, but it's obviously very... It's a raw expression of how Tyler is feeling, and that I can appreciate. Also, the sampling sounds pretty cool. It is kind of sad that the best part of the song is not original, but still. It took me until this song to realize what music critics mean when they say a song sounds compressed. But it's still, it's a respectable first attempt at a sort of classic rock song, guitar solo and all. I kid you not, one time I legit forgot the song existed while I was listening to Blurryface. Like, I took a break from listening to Blurryface when Trench came out, but one day I decided to go back to it, and after I listened to Message Man, I was like, oh, the next song's gonna be Not Today, right? But then this started playing, and my reaction was something like, wait, what the? Oh! I used to hate this song, but it's grown on me quite a bit. It's still not anywhere close to my favorite on Scaled Nicely, but ever since the livestream experience in the music video, I feel like I have a better understanding of what kind of vibe they were going for. In one sense, the creaking and stretching of the accordion does create a particular atmosphere that's really cool, but it still sounds a bit annoying. The song does build pretty well though, like it's short and sweet. Okay, Isle of Flightless Birds. I have some mixed feelings about this. Part of me thinks it's kind of dull. Like when I'm listening to it, I just feel like I'm waiting for it to end. But it also still seems like a lyrically deep song. So why did they use the word stuff? The kick is about as pleasant on my ears as a sledgehammer, but the lyrics are nice, besides the fact that there are way too many doos. Okay, this song has that sort of nostalgic feeling that just makes me sad. It's simple, heartfelt, and you know that I'm going to be listening to it every Christmas. I know it's not their most exciting song, but do me a favor and try to ignore as you watch him fall through a rain-trapped door. A nice song about a father. And the high note on the line, "We all need you now," is frankly beautiful. But the song doesn't really have mixing. It's more like piano. His singing is kind of unpleasant at certain points in the song, but it kind of gets a pass because of how hard the lyrical content hits. And sometimes the instrumental gets a bit ethereal. I think it's cool that they tried to give their own twist to the song by making the "I will not kiss you" line into a chorus, but I don't know if it works. It's cool the end when the song slows down and ends on the word "faded." I think that's really cool. I think that's a cool payoff, but I'm not sure if the padded runtime is worth it. Also, the sub bass is way too loud. A really passionate song about what seems to be not wanting to fall in love. However, the piano is loud and repetitive, and please stop with the vocal effects, I beg of you. Kinda ugly singing again, but also lyrically very cool, and sonically one of the more interesting songs on Self-Titled. Amazing soundscape that kinda goes to waste. The chorus is really good though. Also, Ice Cream. Ugly but catchy as heck. Sonically beautiful. A good message, lyrics that can accidentally be interpreted as pretentious, and a vocal delivery that goes from mediocre to beautiful so quickly that I get whiplash. I like it. Not as drastic as the difference between this version and the Vessel version, unlike Ode to Sleep, but this still doesn't sound as good production-wise. And I feel pretty similar about Holding On To You. Like, I don't feel bad listening to this. Donald Duck setting at 1 minute and 50 seconds. A sweet love song, but if it wasn't for the lyrical twist at the end about being scared, this would have gone stale pretty fast. It's fine. This is a great part of the list, isn't it? What stinks is that the version of this that they did for their live stream was so much better. It had a better sense of progression, and most importantly, the rap verse was delivered much better. Sometimes it's hard to remember anything about this other than the chorus. I usually try to defend this song by saying it's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek, but at the same time, some parts sound like they're trying to be serious, so I end up confusing myself. But it's still a fun song, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Yo, this song will never be on the radio.
The chorus is cool. The scream near the end is especially cool, but the verses, like the second half of the verses, are a toss-up between causing me pain and me ironically liking them. Still more interesting than the previous songs on this list. If I use what willpower I have to ignore the painful delivery of that rap, I enjoy this song quite a bit. Still sounds like a demo in comparison to the Vessel version. Still sounds like a demo in comparison to the Vessel version, but you know, it's still decent. This one's a really sweet song, but it drags a bit too much towards the end. But good otherwise. Behold, the first song that you learned on the ukulele. Come on, this is good, right? This is good. The worst thing about this is how he calls eyelid slits, but the bridge is phenomenal. The second half of this song is the cooler brother of the first half of this song. It's missing the watch it, and I feel like a part of my soul is missing. The mix feels a bit thinner than the Mute Math session, but it's better structured and at least it feels complete. The build-up during the "I'm Falling" sounds really awkward to me. It's still an interesting take on the song, but I think they try to do too much. Don't you hate it when a spaceship interrupts your walk to an ocean grave? Honestly, extremely captivating lyrics. Not gonna lie, I still rap that second verse to myself when no one's listening. I think this was a great song to start Scale to Nicey. A straight-up pop song with some traditional Toilet Palates undertones like, you know, talking about how your family is dead or something. Shut up, this song is a bop. Shut up, this song is also a bop. My feelings on the song went from "it's great" to "this is so overrated" to "it's great. These lyrics aren't for everyone, only few will understand." Another line that could accidentally come off as pretentious, but like before with songs like Kitchen Sink, I think he's just talking about how personal the lyrics are and how everyone has their own unique experiences. I discovered 21 Pilots through Stressed Out like a whole bunch of people, but what's worse is that I discovered Stressed Out through a Jimmy Fallon Ariana Grande lip sync conversation video from April 2016. 21 Pilots' best cover, and coincidentally, it's the one that they changed the least. Ever since Brad Tastes in Music's original Blurryface reaction video, he pointed out how there's a sort of bit crusher effect on Tyler's vocals and sometimes the whole instrumental, or at least they try to push the highs and everything, and ever since he pointed it out, I can't unhear it. Blonner. Goner is especially guilty of that, and also the ending, while it's sort of non-traditional by going from screaming to whispering, and it is interesting, but it also feels kind of unnatural sometimes. So yeah, next song. Okay, this Mute Math session is much closer to the original, and sometimes I might want to listen to this version because of how that guitar is awesome, but it's another case where I'd still rather keep the original instead. And here's the original. Even though there's that equalization bit crusher effect, the elements of the songs feel more distinct than the Mute Math version, and I like that. Another two versions of a song back to back. Despite killer lines like, "I wasn't raised in the hood, but I know a thing or two about pain and darkness," the song still sounds really cool. Okay, I really like the song, especially the chorus, but there's this one bright synth that is way too loud, especially in the beginning. Hey, this is the unprofessional that's editing this video, but please call me Fish. Basically, I just saved you from an embarrassing recreation of that 1, 2, 3, yeah that Tyler likes to do when he's playing this song live. So, you're welcome. Okay, this is the first time I legit smiled when listening to Skeleton Icy for the first time. It was great. Thank you, Emma Blackery, for bringing this song up in her top 21 Pilots songs video from however many years ago, because otherwise I wouldn't know that the song exists. Ride is, good. Okay, listen, we're 68 songs in, I'm running out of things to say. I hope you're paying attention. Did you notice? Or rather, did you notice that which was not there to be, noticed? I think his performance on Implicit Demand for Proof actually adds to the experience, like the emo voice that he puts on, and the theme and lyrics are something that I can really relate to. Also, the first few notes sound like my alarm clock, and it always scares me. The bridge is so passionate, man. Darn. Like, even though that emo voice that Tyler puts on for this album doesn't always work, sometimes he manages a balance that creates this incredibly theatrical atmosphere. The rap verse is kind of mediocre, but everything else makes up for it. Sonic collects a ring at 2 minutes in. Much better than the original at best version, and I can say the same thing for the next song. Behold, my most listened to song on Spotify in the year 2017. Going back to it, it does sound a bit dated, and like he still has like sort of that inflection that he puts on his voice, but it's still sick as frick. I feel like I like this song more than I should. Josh Dunn. That's what he should have noticed earlier, by the way. He's a classic. Also, the bridge is one of the coolest switch-ups that they've done. Okay, when that underwater sounding synth comes in and the drums kick up a notch, that's good. I think Trench is their most complete album experience that they've given, and the lore that they go into, like in this song, greatly adds to that. Despite not generally being a fan of that kind of 2000s era rock music, I think that this is the best that genre of music could possibly sound. I don't listen to this song as much as the others on Trench because of how serious of a topic it is, and how seriously it's presented, but it still sounds phenomenal. Especially that shrieking synthesizer in the bridge, oh my gosh. A wonderful send-off for Tyler's grandfather, and I don't know what else to say about it. A bit too simple in some respects, like it doesn't have the outro of the original, which is one of my favorite parts of that song, but this is still a great take on the track that provides its own sort of vibe. This one's more interesting than the Chlorine location session, but I have mixed feelings about the vocal effect at certain points, particularly at the beginning of the bridge, but the layering he does with his vocals during that bridge, like, makes it worth it. And also, he sings his heart out during that outro. Yeah, I really do think that I like the location session of The Hype more than the original. My only gripe is how he combined two verses into one and just repeated it, but he sort of makes up for that by adding other lines to the song. This one was a joyous surprise on the album. Frankly, just the coolest sounding track, and I could not stop smiling while listening to it. After listening to Scaled and Icy, I saw a lot of people saying that this was one of 21 Pilots' best songs, but I didn't really get the hype behind it at the time. I think what threw me off was the vocal effects on the chorus, which I still don't really like. I would have preferred them to turn that effect down and maybe raise up the guitar. But after further listens, the lyrics really lift the song up, and the instrumental, while simple, offers a haunting atmosphere that fits perfectly with the message. The simple yet potent line, stay alive for me, has reserved a place in my heart for the song forever. This is just beautiful. The best Tyler sings on Self-Titled. My favorite bass line. Oh my gosh. This album altogether makes me want to buy a bass guitar, but I'm worried that I wouldn't actually play it. Ooh, the final 10. Here we go. Okay, this is the best song about writer's block that anyone has ever made. Change My Mind. Josh Dunn. Yeah, I'm surprised Jumpsuit isn't higher on this list too. Like, the pure elation I felt when I listened to this song for the first time. Oh, I know how to levitate up on my feet, and ever since the 7th grade I learned to fire breathe and throw a feet. I don't know how to describe this one besides saying that I wouldn't be surprised if someone called it their magnum opus. Honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of this song at first, because I thought it was a bit slow and repetitive, but it just keeps growing on me after each listen. Even though a couple lines are repeated a bunch, it's never the exact same twice. They keep on adding layer after layer, and the beautiful bridge and instrumental and outro is just, Apparently, there are many people that don't really like this song that much, and that makes me sad. The immaculate electronics and the accompanying lyrics left a great impression on me. I'll always remember the first time I listened to it, the build-up of the synths with the first line hitting me with, "I'll keep on trying, might as well." Oh my... What a beautiful, beautiful track. Not only atmospheric, but determined and hopeful. I honestly thought that Cut My Lip would be my favorite from Trench, but this is just too perfect. It ends the album flawlessly. My favorite track of any of their albums. It's like Truce, but it goes the extra mile. Bet you didn't expect to see the same song on opposite sides of the list, huh? Yeah, Trees always gives me another burst of energy, no matter how down I'm feeling. The build-up and screaming out hello at the end just gets me pumped. And the lyrics as a whole are pretty significant as well. Now, on to the final song. I wonder how many of you have actually kept track and know exactly what it's going to be. Here we go. Here's number 1. Taxicab. If I had to keep one song, this would be it. It's far from being objectively perfect, but it means the most to me out of every single song that they've done. So I don't really care about any of its flaws. And that's what a 10 out of 10 really means to me, is a measure of my emotional response and engagement in a song. Which is why I really want to emphasize that it's okay, even good, to like a song that I don't like, or vice versa. Because a song might be meaningful to you in a way that it isn't to me. And the same could be said for the entire albums. Like, averaging out the scores of the songs in each album that I gave, not counting the bonus tracks, I would rank the albums like this with roughly these scores. But I could see myself slightly adjusting the scores to better reflect how I think the albums work as complete experiences, because sometimes a project is better than the sum of its parts. The point is, I can imagine at least one of you valuing Regional at Best in the same way that I value Trench. In fact, I know some of you do because the 10-year anniversary of Regional at Best was this year, and I saw so many people celebrating it on Twitter. And honestly, that's pretty cool. Thank you for watching. Oh my gosh. I hope you appreciated my take on 21 Pilots songs, but now it's only fair if you get to share your opinion, so let me know in the comments if you have a song from their discography that means as much to you as Taxicab does to me. Or even on the other end of the spectrum, as much as I dislike the Regional at Best version of House of Gold. If you have something else that you want me to rank, let me know, but please, for all that is good, let it be less than 102 items. Holy smokes.